Hello everyone. Today is the first day of Sagadawa. On this day we're also being able to practice this practice and listen to these teachings together, and it is a very precious and auspicious. So yesterday we talked a little bit about the preliminary practices. We talked about renunciation as well. Today we will begin talking about the main practice. So in the liturgy there's also refuge and bodhicitta. In the Lama deity, embodiment of the three jewels, I take refuge until awakening is reached. So most of you would be familiar with refuge taking, so I don't need to talk too much about it, but I'd like to share with you some of my experience. I believe that refuge, what I believe is, every single sentient being has Buddha nature. That is when we talk about the Tathagataba. So when we say that all sentient beings have Buddha nature, how it is manifested is stated in the Uttara Tantra. If we do not have Buddha nature, we will not be able to rouse renunciation. It's not possible. Without bodhicitta, without Buddha nature, then it's not possible to rouse the desire for liberation. That is because every sentient being has Buddha nature, has the Tathagataba. And so that is why we take refuge. That is the motivation for taking refuge, to be liberated. So every sentient being also has the desire to be liberated. But as sentient beings seek liberation, it is actually bound by different types of causes and conditions, or the past kinds of habits that they have. And that is why on our paths to seek liberation, every being seeks it differently. And that is why different sentient beings might choose to believe in different religions. However, today, being able to meet with the Buddha Dharma and be able to practice it is a really difficult to, it's a very rare opportunity. So we have that desire to be liberated. And then after that, we manifest and we can become Buddha. That is the fruit. So we have the ground, the path, and the fruit. The ground meaning our Buddha nature, the path meaning Buddha Dharma, the practice of Buddha Dharma, and the fruit or fruition meaning attaining Buddhahood. So when we take refuge in the three jewels, we need to know these. That is the main content of our mind training. That is, in refuge, the ground, path, and fruition, they are all within the taking of refuge. So most of us have taken refuge vows. When we're taking refuge vows, basically we receive a new name and then we cut a little bit of our hair, and then that would symbolize that we have taken refuge in the three jewels and are disciples of the Buddha. But these are just part of a ceremony. So at the start of our practice, when we say that from today onwards, we will not stop with practice all the way until all sentient beings attain Buddhahood. So today, over here it says, I take refuge until awakening is reached. Buddha Dharma, there are three different types of fruits or fruition. So there is the arhat kind of result and fruit. So they want to be free from the suffering of samsara, and so they attain arhathood. So they have loving kindness and they have an understanding of emptiness, and that is why they attain arhathood. Then we have the solitary hearers. They too understand the dependent origination, the 12 links. So the solitary hearers attain that understanding. But the ultimate Buddhahood, what it is that firstly we've got to rouse bodhicitta. Just like Buddha Shakyamuni, first we rouse bodhicitta. Then we accumulate merit, and lastly, we attain Buddhahood. So that is the ultimate fruition of Buddhahood. So when we're taking refuge, sometimes when we're taking refuge in the three jewels, some people see it as like the three jewels are like some gods or some gods. Then, say for instance, if we don't do well in our business, then we turn to the three jewels. Or when we're sick, then we pray to the three jewels. And there are also some, like when their children don't do well at school, then we also pray to the three jewels, and then we make dedication. If we take refuge in such a way, then the motivation, the goal of taking refuge is not complete. So although we do know how to pray and how to make dedication, but that is not the main goal of taking refuge. The main goal of taking refuge is that now that we have this Buddha nature within us, in order to fully manifest, completely manifest this Buddha nature, we take refuge. So the Lord Jigten Sumgon had said that the Buddha is within the mind streams of all sentient beings. So now, through our practice, we've got to attain Buddhahood. That is the right way. So that is the meaning of taking refuge. We've got to understand it in this way. So now we're talking about the three jewels. When we say jewels, what it means is, in the Uttara Tantra Shastra, there are a number of analogies to explain jewels. What are jewels? Jewels are the wish-fulfilling jewels. They're very precious. They're really rare. Similarly, the three jewels are really rare. The Buddha has come to the human realm. That is also something that is very rare. We can't have the Buddha appearing every day. So from that perspective, we understand what it means when we say jewels, or the three jewels. So for jewels, for instance, we've got to wash it very well and then use milk and everything to wash it and then place it as offerings. So what this means is that the jewels are completely free from any impurities. It is very pure. Similarly, our Buddha has cut and completely attained wisdom, and therefore the Buddha is also pure, extremely pure. Now for the wish-fulfilling gem, when we place it as an offering and we offer it to all and we pray a lot, then the wish-fulfilling gem can help us get rid of all kinds of sufferings, from suffering of poverty and other kinds of suffering. Similarly, when we're praying to the three jewels, the Buddha gives us the dharma, the teachings. Attain peace and happiness, and that is a similar meaning from that perspective. And so we also say that a wish-fulfilling gem is a kind of ornament. So it makes one look respectable and good. So when we place a jewel, right, as an offering on a throne, for instance, so it actually makes everything look very good. Similarly, the Buddha is also the most precious, the most capable person, and so he is like an ornament, and that's a kind of greatness in the appearance. So that is the analogy, comparing the Buddha to a jewel. So amongst all of our ornaments, which is the best ornament? That is the wish-fulfilling gem. Similarly, in our relative world, on the worldly kind of perspective, what we rely on many different things. However, the most precious thing that we rely on is the Buddha. So in the 37 practices of Bodhisattva, it was said that there are many different deities and different ghosts. So they do have the clairvoyance, and they may look like they're very powerful. But if we're to rely on them, they are not the ultimate objects of reliance. Why? Because they are also beings within samsara. These Therefore, the Buddha, amongst all of the different things that we rely on, the Buddha is the most reliable. The Buddha is the best object of reliance. He is the ultimate object of refuge. Also, the wish-fulfilling gem, this gem is something that is very precious, and it is not affected by any external factors. So, for instance, somebody may say that this is a very precious gem, but it doesn't change. It doesn't make it any better. And if somebody were to say that this is not a good gem, it doesn't take away its qualities. So what the wish-fulfilling gem does is that it helps you purify all of the obscurations and allow you to perfect wisdom. And it is not affected by other people's criticism or other people's judgment. It doesn't change. So if somebody criticizes it, its value goes down. Or if somebody praises it, its value goes up. It's not like that. It is unlike the material objects in our world. It is something that is very pure, and it benefits sentient beings, and it has great wisdom, great loving kindness and compassion. the meaning of the three jewels, the idea of jewels. So today, we talk about when we're practicing Guru Yoga, the Guru is the embodiment of all of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So how do we contemplate on this? For example, all of the loving kindness, compassion of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are together, are as one, are the same as our Guru's loving kindness and compassion. Just like our Guru's clarity or understanding of clarity and emptiness is the same as that of all of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So while from the perspective of the Dharmakaya, it is actually all the same, all in union. So from looking at the Guru's Dharmakaya, he is the embodiment of all of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Now let's talk about the Dharma teachings that the Buddha gave. Why did the Buddha give teachings? It is from his great loving kindness and compassion that he gave teachings. He saw countless sentient beings suffering. And that is why he thought, and he can see that all of the suffering that sentient beings are suffering are created by themselves, but they don't know it. Therefore, the Buddha gave us teachings. And that is why he gave the teachings. And there were three turning of the wheel of Dharma. First, second, and third turning of the wheel of the Dharma. And what is the point of giving these teachings? It is so that all sentient beings can be free from suffering and have happiness. It is to liberate them from suffering. It is so that they can actually develop the wisdom, their innate wisdom. And similarly, all of the teachings that our Guru has given us, it is so that all of his disciples who have lots of afflictions within their mind stream, and because of the afflictions, lots of suffering arise. And so the Guru gives the teachings so that we can be liberated from our confusion. So what the Guru teaches is the same as what the Buddha teaches, because the meanings are the same. And so we take what our Guru teaches as the Dharma. So the Bodhisattva vows. So he has taken the three different types of vows. Or you can think of how the Guru has perfected within him the threefold training of virtue, mind, and wisdom. So over here today, we're talking about the Lama deity as an embodiment of the three jewels. So when we're practicing the Guru Yoga, we've got to see the Guru as an embodiment of all of the three jewels that we take refuge in. So in Tibetan, that's the word that says Har, and what it means is deity. So it is also Lama, our Guru, as well as deity, and also the Dakas and Dakinis, embodiment of all. So our common objects of refuge is the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. In the Vajrayana refuge, taking in our sadhana, we have the guru as a jewel, the deity, guru, as well as the dakas and the dakinis. So our guru is also the deity, as well as the dakas and the dakinis. So from all of these different perspectives, we see the guru as the embodiment of all of the objects of refuge. We've got to understand in this way. So in this to that, we take refuge in the guru. In the next line is bodhicitta. In order to liberate infinite destitute beings, I will strive to accomplish the Guru Buddha. That is bodhicitta. So today, when we're rousing bodhicitta, the main point of rousing bodhicitta is really, no matter what we do, firstly, we've got to think that the goal of whatever action that we take, we've got to be clear about the goal. Once we are clear about the goal, then we take action. So no matter what we do, whatever practice we do, it will not be wasted. If not, then you have no feelings or you have no clue and your mind is full of discursive thoughts, then it wouldn't be good. It'll be a waste of the practice. Therefore, firstly, before we do anything, we've got to think, today, why am I practicing the Guru Yoga? The goal of practicing Guru Yoga is so that I can attain the fruit of Bodhi. And why do I want to do that? What is the point of it? It is so that I can liberate all sentient beings. Why do I need to liberate all sentient beings? Because they are creating lots of suffering, and therefore I have to liberate them. And that is the reason why I'm practicing the Guru Yoga today. So over here it says to practice with diligence. That it is not simply reciting the words and that's it. The speech and the mind must come together so we can recite, and in our mind we contemplate. And that is practicing with diligence, and only then can we attain the result in practice. And that is from my own experience in practice. So when it says in order to liberate infinite destitute beings in this line, in actual fact, we've got to think about why is it that we rouse bodhicitta. So the reason is stated here in this line. We've got to continuously practice many times, and only then will we be able to attain this effect of bodhicitta. So what are we practicing in? We've got to see that all sentient beings are like our parents. We've got to have that kind of mindset. That's really important. And we wouldn't be able to have that attainment in 1 or 2 days. In our daily lives, every single moment, we've got to think that all sentient beings are our parents. On this, my personal experience is this. In the past, Drikung Rinpoche held a dharma assembly in in Nepal. And then many disciples offer Rinpoche kata, and then they'd say, oh, can you please make dedication to my father or to my wife or to my son? And then as they say so, Rinpoche gave us a teaching. Rinpoche said, actually, for the sake of your parents and friends, your family and friends in this lifetime, you do all kinds of things and make dedication for them. So that is okay. That is good. However, as a person, as a Mahayana practitioner, one who is developing bodhicitta, when we just practice in this way, it is incomplete. What we need to do when we make dedication is that we've got to dedicate the merit to all sentient beings. And when we pray, we've got to pray for all sentient beings. So at the time when Rinpoche gave this teaching, I felt that within his teaching, he's actually saying something else. There's another meaning to it, and that is he's trying to tell us that we've got to practice, we've got to train ourselves in this. So sometimes when I go to Bodh Gaya and do circumambulations, and then when I meet with some of the beggars, then I think of them, oh, they too have been my parents in the past. And when I meet with a dog, I'll also think, oh, this dog had also been my parents in the past. So for us ordinary beings, we always start with some kind of fabrication. It doesn't just occur naturally. So this kind of fabrication, we continue to so-called fabricate and think. Then after some time, it will result in some kind of transformation in our mind. It is possible. For instance, at the start, when the sky is beginning to darken at places such as Bodh Gaya, as you're circumambulating and you meet different people, at the start, in our mind, we might be a little bit fearful. Oh, would this person be a robber or a pickpocket? But in our mind, that mindset of seeing all sentient beings as our parents, when we have that kind of mindset, then we would not have this kind of feeling of fear. In fact, whenever we meet with any sentient beings, we would be filled with joy. And so that effect will gradually arise. So now when we rouse bodhicitta, firstly, we need to know that all sentient beings have been our parents. That is extremely important. And the second reason is, since I want to liberate sentient beings so that they can attain Buddhahood, and that is why I'm doing practice, so that all sentient beings can attain Buddhahood, what kind of confidence do you have in that? It's a pretty hard task to do, isn't it? So that is when we do this practice or understand the Uttara Tantra. And what we understand is that all sentient beings have Buddha nature. And Buddha nature is the seed for attaining Buddhahood, because all sentient beings have the seed for the attainment of Buddhahood. So if we make use of all kinds of different methods to enable that, then how is it not possible that they cannot attain Buddhahood? So similarly, we can say that when we plant a good seed, then surely that seed will grow and there will be fruition. And in that way, we become more confident. So slowly, within our mind stream, we will have some kind of benefit from practicing in this way. So that is it for today's time. The time is up. And mainly today we talked about what most of you already know very clearly on refuge and bodhicitta. But what I have done is I've just shared with you my own experiences. And so that's it for today's time. Thank you all, Dharma friends. Thank you, Rinpoche.